Hi, my name is Anita McCall. I am running for District 3 School Board, which is the downtown Lincolnton school board position. I've been in Lincolnton downtown for about 16 years, 15 or 16 years. I'm from Stanley originally. Been a computer-aided design engineer for 24 years, where I did mechanical, electrical, and civil geological drawings for that field. And I have one child. She's 24 years old, graduate of Western Carolina, married, and happily married to Charles McCall, who is a federal employee, so he can't be involved in my campaign, for those of you who wonder why is my husband not here. But just to let you know, this is a decision that we both sat down, and I just feel like that, you know, maybe I can make a difference. I do a lot in the community as far as volunteer organizations. I was the 2011 Volunteer of the Year for the American Red Cross. I teach all of their classes for the Lincoln County, that is. I teach and certify people for all their classes. I'm a volunteer for Downtown Development Association and the Cultural Center with Kathy. I am on Lincolnton's Planning and Zoning Board and Lincolnton's Board of Adjustments as an appointed position. And the reason I'm doing this is not because I have a child in the system, because my daughter's graduated college and married, but I just feel like I can help the community do better. I want to be able to look at other areas who have really succeeded at drawing people into the community, such as like Union County. People move there for the school systems. So let's see what they're doing right. Let's see, you know, how can we learn from that? Maybe we can somehow draw people into our community, and it starts with the children. If you've got the best schools, you'll have people that move here, and therefore then we can have more businesses, more, you know, everything. So I thank you for your vote, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you all. This is a question for BOE candidates. BOE sets its own ethics policies and has its own ethics enforcement, if any. So it's bound by its own willingness of its own members to actually not only develop it, but make it stick, have it happen. And 3 incumbents and 1 former BOE member who are running this November have been embroiled in some ethics controversies. And I'd like to know how each of you would propose to hold your fellow board members accountable for the ethics policy that's written, already existing in the book.
I think, first of all, we have to listen to hear what is out there. You know, you've heard it been said before, where there's smoke, there's fire. Sometimes there's people in the community that knows things that we don't know. Let's say I am elected as a board member, then I hear something that you call me and tell me. It is my responsibility to speak to my other board members about it and say, look, this is an ethical issue that I've heard. We need to make absolutely certain that this is either right or wrong, and if it's true or not true. And if it's true, then let's deal with it together as a board. And so I think it's imperative that we, number one, listen to the public so that we know what's going on. Number two, sit down with the open communication and the transparency and say, look, this is what I've heard. It may or it may not be true, but I need for us to put everything on the table, and let's just be honest. And so that's the best way to do it, in my opinion, is be ethical to one another first, and then to everyone by transparency.
And for BOE again, if you have BOE experience, what outcomes can you point to specifically that you personally initiated to improve education in Lincoln County schools? If you do not have BOE experience, what will you propose specifically to improve education in Lincoln County schools?
This definitely would be a great time for me to speak. I'm all about computers moving forward. I do not have school board experience. I've been, as I said, in engineering for 24 years. But my degree, my program totally was mechanical engineering, and the program that I ended up coming out and going into was mechanical and electrical. Well, a lot of what I had to learn was, feet on the ground, running wide open, because there was nobody in Charlotte who even knew how to do some of the things that I was doing with a system called AutoCAD. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but basically it's drafting using computers. That's all it is. But we don't have anybody who's teaching that within the school systems. Well, I've helped some classes at Gaston College teaching those sort of things. Well, with the Red Cross, there are some classes now that are, high school is now requiring some of the things like, they've just changed the law in North Carolina where you have to have CPR training. So other states has already been that way. So that's one good thing we're coming into today's time. I love the smart boards. Trust me, these kids are a whole lot smarter than you think they could ever be on computers. My child started when she was 3 years old on a computer. And, with the games and stuff, there's a lot of things that we can use to our benefit. Now, I'm not talking about a game, but I'm talking about utilizing computers and utilizing programs that we can pique their interest. Because it's got to be fast-paced for them or else they're bored. And, now we've got a new way of measuring. We've got the Common Core and Essential Standards, which you all probably already read about. I think that's going to help us a whole lot. We've got the smart boards. We could use social media with regulations. And so I also help build websites. I just think that moving forward in today's time rather than doing it the way we used to do it 20 years ago, it's just not going to work. So let's try, utilizing what we can today.